that I've seen a lot of videos where people are complaining about how sloppiness these AI tools have become, how generic outputs are even affecting their work, and the whole rework of, wasting tokens when your first output is not as good as you want. I'm going to lay out my exact process in the hope that if you start applying some of these things that I'm going to teach you today, or that I'm going to show you today, you will start getting outputs that are professional, websites that are professionally done, premium, and your clients will never run away from you, right? So let's get into it. So the first thing we have to admit, right, us as designers, when these tools came in, we thought, our job is done. We no longer need to do the work, right? We just give the tool one prompt, then it will give us everything. But to be honest with you guys, after working with these AI tools for some time now, I've realized that that's not true, right? We still need to make some work behind the scenes. We still need to know exactly what we want, right? So I'll give you an example. If we take two engineers or two designers right now, right, we give them a task, you find that the performance or the output at the end of the day will probably be different. Now, can we actually say that these engineers are not good, or these tools that they use are not good? No. But the secret behind it is actually how we were using, or how they were using the tool, which is the same thing with Claude Code or any other AI tool out there, right? Some people are still just going to Claude and say, create me a modern website. There's nothing wrong with that. And to be honest with you, Claude will actually give you a website because that's what you asked for. But is it actually what you want, right? Hence now, this whole myth of saying prompt engineering is gone, we no longer rely on prompt much, is actually wrong, because everything that you want an AI tool to do starts with your prompt, right? So, or the quality of your prompt will actually determine the quality of your output, right? So stop just saying, create me a modern website, and like I mentioned, it will give you these huge headlines, the gradient colors that we all see on different websites, the generic CTAs, all these rounded cars that are even not necessary, right? So stop that right now. Like I mentioned, we still have work to do. Claude itself, it's not the designer. We are still designers. So what we need to do is we need to remain in the seat to actually direct and tell Claude what we want, such that we get the quality outputs that we need. Now, I'm going to show you a brief process of how I actually design my work, and then I'll walk you through everything, right? So at first I have to get some reference, secondly the direction, then give it to Claude, I get into some iteration process, then I finalize my work. So before I even give Claude something to do, right, I need to go for an inspiration hunt where I actually go and do researches, see how some websites are looking like, right? I go on sites like Awards, Framer, 21st Dev, Mobin, Dribble, just to see how other designers, the psychology behind some of these websites these other designers out there have done. And for fun enough, some of the websites designed out there, they have been actually winning awards, right? Hence I go on platform like Awards to see the psychology behind the premium part of that website, behind it, how they've laid out the layers, the typography, the hero composition, the navigations, and some animations, right? I go on this just to collect design decisions, right? Then from there, after collecting those, I then actually try to see, okay, what is it exactly that I can bring to my own design, right? the typography, like I mentioned, the hierarchy, the CTA placement, the images. If I'm creating a website for a SaaS application, how is the landing page going to look like? How is the hero section going to look like, right? All those things I can actually borrow from other people and bring into my own workflow. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm not copying, I'm just getting some inspiration such that at the end of the day, when I hand over my work to my clients, they are happy. I've designed something which is not generic. I've designed something which I can actually walk away and say AI is not the one which is sloppy. So after getting all the inspiration, now I need to understand the tool that I'm going to use, right? So with Claude itself, right, it has got so many domains, so many use cases. You also need to understand those. And don't worry, I'm going to leave a link in the description, or I will leave it here, where you can actually go and understand on your own, read about these two on your own, right? But in the meantime, we have Claude Code, we have Claude for desktop, we have Claude for the browser. You can actually install Claude Code on your IDE, or you can use it in your terminal, right? You don't necessarily need to be sticking to one platform. It just depends with your test. How do you actually work, right? And guys, to be honest with you, this tool is, or it was actually made for technical and non-technical people, meaning to say, if you're a non-technical people, there's no need for you to be scared. This tool is straightforward, right? Now there are models, right? So it comes with different models: Opus, Sonnet, Fable. There are so many, right? And each model, right, has got its particular strength and its particular weakness. If you are doing daily task, day-to-day task, simple task, just stick with Sonnet. If you trying to come up with an architecture, trying to come up with an MVP and all that, use Opus. But you have to know that your tokens will run out quickly, right? So it's some of those things that you need to understand. Now comes the MCPs, the connectors, all these plugins that you then need to download or to install just to enhance the process. If you want to connect to GitHub, there's an MCP for GitHub. If you want to deploy your websites to any hosting platform for hosting, for render, for Vercel, there are all those MCPs that you can actually connect such that it makes your work easier, and it also speeds up stuff. You need to understand those things. Then comes the skills, right? Let's say, for instance, I've been designing a landing page, right? I spent a day or 2 days trying to come up with the perfect copy of a landing page for a SaaS company, right? And I know, this is my job. This is actually what I've been employed to do. I create this type of landing pages every week, every month. I am creating these things. After creating that first copy, you can bundle all the back and forth by just one prompt and create your own skill. These are some of the things that come with the tool that you need to understand. So now the next part, this is where things get more interesting, and this is where you take charge, right? Right, before you do anything, create a project. And when you create a project, there are certain files that you need to create. These files will then give Claude the direction. It will give Claude exactly what you want, right? So we're talking about design MD files. We're talking about the layout MD files, the business MD files, the instructions MD files, SEO MD files, right? These documents, right, they contain what we call guardrails. They contain the directions, the decisions that we want. And whenever you are in a process, right, you feel like, oh, you need to modify something, you can just tell Claude. It will then modify these decisions for you, right? So there's a lot. Some people want to create a master prompt where it has got everything. I like to keep my stuff structured. I have MD files for SEO. I have MD files for technical stuff. I have MD files for branding, for designing. I keep those separately. And these also help me when I'm actually doing another project. I can just come to this project and copy that MD file and start using it in another project, right? So these are some of the things that we need to do, need to set before the tool starts execution. When it comes to the execution part, we are talking about prompting. How then are we going to tell the tool to use all these files that we have designed, all the inspiration that we have gathered, right? All the research that we have done for that business. And to be honest with you guys, there is no one perfect prompt that we can say, oh, if you give me this prompt, it will make magic, right? There isn't that. It's a matter of you using one prompt to initiate the process, then understand, see the outputs, and also you creating an angle that you would want such that it will give you exactly what you want. And a bonus, the fact that we have gathered research, we have gathered inspiration, we have also set the decisions, the guardrails and everything. Even a simple prompt will make everything come out nicely because we have done the homework for the tool, right? So the tool is just now there to take whatever that we gave and speed up the development process, right? So the first time or the first output that you get, usually it's not the best, right? Hence you need to revise. You need now, this is where you as a designer come into play. This is where what you are actually judging, what you have set in the MD files, your output that you wanted, is it exactly what the version 1 came with? If it's not, you then have to check, does the hierarchy work? Does this still feel premium like I mentioned? Are the CTOs clear and obvious, right? All those things, right? Then you revise. You do a version 1, a version 2, a version 3 if you need to go there. And sometimes you need to check out sites like 21st Dev or Framer for different layouts. Yes, so the tool will give you this layout, but maybe you want a layout that you say when you're scrolling on the screen, the cards, they actually increment and so forth. There are so many ways of doing it, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that your first version, your second version is not always the best. You need to bring in other things such that the professionalism in you actually speaks for itself when someone visits your site, right? This is exactly the process that I've been using for creating this website, and other websites that I haven't showed you here, right? So I've been doing this for some time now. And to be honest with you, if you follow this process, right, if you go and gather some inspiration, if you go and gather some references, if you create your own MD files, everything will become professional. It won't just give you this sloppiness, these generic results, right? And one thing to note before I go, right, is that these days, or if you are selling websites to a small business, service business, a company, right, your website must not only look pretty, right? It must be a functional website, right? So it must also have something that converts, something that brings in clients. So we're talking about the SEO, the performance itself, the accessibility, the responsiveness, the conversion, right? All these things are supposed to be within your site. Some you can't design, but let's take, for instance, if I load your website on a mobile, does it break or does it flow nicely? You need to engineer that, right? When people are searching for your website or your business, do they actually see you, right? All the keywords and all that, they need to be applied on that particular website, right? So this is exactly what I've been doing, right? The design test, the good references, giving good direction, the context, All these things I've been feeding them to Claude for it to come up with professional websites that my clients are happy to pay for, right? So if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, don't forget to share. And as well, if you want to know more on how to get clients for such websites, you can check out this video where I described or I explained how you can actually start getting paid by people that are already out there. The only thing you need to do is go and watch this video, search for those people, and start making some money. See you in the next one.